So firstly, titles. What makes a good title? Again, one of the reasons to leave this to the end is because it is really, really difficult. Either you'll find out your title is about 28 words long, because yes, it does define what you've done, but it's very difficult to define what you've done succinctly. Or it takes a very brave person to do a kind of, I don't know, if you like, an off-the-wall title. I did philosophy as my undergraduate degree. The only article that I remember reading in terms of the title was a very famous article called "What is it like to be a bat?" It's by an author called Thomas Nagel, 1970s philosopher. It was all about kind of the consciousness. Now, I remember that paper because he chose bat, knowing that was like kind of a really off-the-wall animal. He could have described it much more easily in different ways, but he chose to kind of use the example of a bat, and immediately there's something in your head that kind of pictures a bat kind of wondering about self-consciousness. So it does need to catch the reader's eye, but it's going to be very rare, that occasion where you hit on something that good. So do be descriptive, but just do try as much as possible to keep it short. Use devices. So for example, use colon. You could be quite brave with the initial 2 or 3, 4 words before the colon. After the colon, that's where you can be a little bit more descriptive. So again, thinking about how people are going to find your article, basically they're going to find it on Google. Now, the rest of the article will hopefully push the article up if you get keywords and things right, which we're going to talk about next. But you need to make sure that when it's on the list of 10 articles or 20 articles on the first page, they catches the eye. And one of the ways to kind of have a very, very short, pithy start, and then you do the description. In terms of keywords, I did a talk like this last week at Demont University in Leicester, and there was a bit of debate about this. And again, this is based on our kind of feedback from editors. It is open to debate. I'm not saying this is definitive and you can't do anything else. What I was saying is that it was around jargon, and I was saying that it's better, particularly if you're researching a new subject area, an area where there's, for example, new technology, even where you're introducing a new theory, then if it's something that's never been talked about before, then whatever that theory is, whatever that word is that you've been researching, to not put that as a keyword, because there is no context to it. Nobody will find that in the near future because nothing has been published on it in the past. And some people were saying, well, actually, that's a way to get it established. If you are the first person to do something, you should do it as a keyword, because in the future, in 5 or 10 years down the line, then people find your article as the first one to mention that, which is a good point. You need to think about who your audience is and how you want to establish your research. Is this something that you're really going out on your own here? You're doing something that's completely new, a whole new area of something. And if you want to kind of put your flag in the lawn, if you like, to kind of, or the flag on the moon landing to say this is ours, so this is mine, then fine, yeah. Be the first one to use it. But if you're thinking about how it's going to be found, then somebody doing a keyword search isn't going to find it because it's never been used before. So again, it's just something you need to be aware of when you're doing keywords. And certainly, if you are going to do something new, then the other keywords should be, to be honest, relatively boring. Be as descriptive and as, think about the research that you yourself have done. What would your keyword searches be to get the most relevant articles when you've been doing your literature review? Those would be the kinds of keywords that you need to use. Yes?
Could there be any disadvantage of having many keywords?
Usually there's a limit, actually. You won't be allowed to use more than, usually about 8. I think typically you'll be allowed to use between 3 and 6 or 3 and 8 keywords. So, and by allowed, I mean most journals these days have online submission systems, and they will only give you the option of 6 or 8 keywords. So, and generally we wouldn't you wouldn't be advised to have too many, because then really it's a key word. That's the point. It's meant to kind of define and narrow down to the exact area of research that you're working on.
I was sort of thinking about, we have researcher profiles, and on those profiles, put down keywords that we, like, go into the Manchester University webpage, and you basically click, this is this keyword, my profile, or not. I probably have like 12 keywords.
Okay.
But could that be like a negative? I can't really see the downside.
No, well, that's slightly different, because that's somebody who might find you in terms of the research that you're doing.
Yeah.
All I would say is that the keywords that you use to describe yourself should be aligned to the keywords that you've used in the past, or that you're using for the research that you want to publish. And therefore people find you in the same way that they'll find your research. So if you, for example, you've written an article and it has 6 keywords, then most of those keywords should be the same keywords as used on the Manchester University webpage, with some others that you're maybe doing other types of research. It's different because, particularly as you develop, then what you find is that researchers will have, in the kind of PhD, early career scholar, they'll have one kind of research area, and then they'll start to branch out into a second. And as they get on, and they've been maybe an academic for 10 to 15 years, they'll get a third research area. And then maybe when they're a professor and they're kind of getting on a bit, they'll have a 4th research area, which will be completely random, but they'll be their little pet subject. And so the research areas will multiply the more you get into being an academic. So therefore, having more keywords to describe you on your webpage would be an advantage, because you're doing more stuff. Whereas now, it should be relatively narrow if you're doing a PhD or whatever it is.
Yeah, my problem is more like, okay, so my subject is quite specific. I do research on how to regulate deep seabed mining. So
how to regulate what, sorry?
Deep seabed mining.
Deep seabed mining?
Yeah, basically
right, okay.
Minerals on the sea for 1,000 years of that. The thing is, nobody knows anything about it, so generally it's like the public that are just interested, they will maybe search for like deep seabed mining, or like nodules or something, but people that are actually in the industry, they would never search for that because it's too wide. They would search for like adaptive management, within the deep sea mining regime,
right, I see.
something. So like it's kind of difficult if you want to reach out to all these people that just
sure.
That's what I would say.
Sure, and that's where, going back to the keywords then, that you will need to use as many as possible if it's somewhere that's not just, the problem is that not only is it new, it's interdisciplinary. So there are several paths into that new space, whether it's for management, regulation, mining, etc. So if it's a new interdisciplinary area, then you'll have to reflect those disciplines that will potentially go into it, yeah? So I get your problem there. One thing that will help you, we'll talk about later about dissemination, by kind of, I don't know if you've already done this or not, but by creating a social media hub, and creating one of the ways that you can, one of the advantages of creating a social media hub like a WordPress site or something, is that you can then see what engagement you have and measure the engagement and analyse the engagement that you have from a outside of academia perspective, and that will help you see the kinds of words that people are using to kind of come to you, which will then help define the kind of keywords, etc. So, introduction. Again, often editors will get 4 or 5 pages of an introduction, they'll give a huge sigh, and they'll put a great big red pen across it. The temptation is, as a writer, to kind of really go for broke on this. You're trying to be as persuasive as possible, and therefore you write quite a lot. When actually, you should keep it as tight as possible. Answer these key things. What is the problem that you're looking at? Are there any existing solutions? Do you agree or disagree with them? Like, you don't have to say anything about how you disagree with them or how you agree. You just need to put this out at the start where you're to position yourself. Again, this is all about the purpose, establishing what the purpose is of your article. I didn't mention the literature review before, because this is kind of, you would start, probably the first thing you do is to read something about this, and the last thing you do is to read something, yeah? before you send it off to the publisher or the editor, you were thinking, has anybody published on this recently? I just need to check again. And if they have, you need to include it if it's relevant. So this will actually go from the start to the finish. And therefore, it's quite fluid, the literature review. And again, the temptation is to show that you've done all this reading and all 143 citations in the end of your paper. You want to make sure that you've told everybody at least twice that you've read them all. Don't feel the need to do that. The literature review is to make sure that you've covered the core areas that are relevant for your research article. You don't have to prove that you've done all this reading. You have to prove that you've got judgment in terms of identifying the most relevant reading that you've done and the most insightful reading. That's where the literature review comes into its own. And that's where editors will glean or will understand where you are and the kind of research that you've done, and to be honest, how clever you've been with it. Have you just read lots of stuff and maybe potentially ignored things? I spoke to an academic recently who had lots of citations from her work, but one of the reasons I spoke to her is because she'd done a lot of research with practice, and we were interested in research and practice coming together. She'd actually banned her press office from talking about this article, even though it's been downloaded hundreds of times. And the reason was that people kept citing it and kept mentioning it in their literature review, which was great for her citations, but they got completely the wrong end of the stick. She was talking about behaviour of basically of young people now, of what people call millennials, compared to baby boomers, people who were born in the 1950s and 60s. Common perception is that their behaviour at work is completely different. Her research showed actually it was very similar. Nobody wanted to know that. You know, she had something that she disagreed with, and she had verifiable proof that that perception was wrong. But people keep citing her because people have miscited her, and then people miscite. So it's really important that whatever you do put in that literature review is correct, and you have got the right evidence there. Methodology, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, methodology is stratospherically important for the paper. Absolutely crucial. One of the 2 or 3 things that will make the paper live or die, basically. All I'm saying from a writing point of view is just make sure that it's robust, that you test it yourself, you don't become too blind, don't think, I am a qualitative researcher, I will never do quantitative research. You have to be open to the fact that you may have chosen a subject where quantitative research would actually help you. Okay? Don't be blind to that. I'm not talking about the validity of either or, I'm just saying make sure that whatever it is that you've done is robust and you've tested it yourself. This is something that you can do your own peer reviewing. Take it to, obviously, your supervisor, take it to somebody you don't necessarily work with. Take it to somebody, a friend who you see in the cafe, who's in a similar area to you and works in a similar area. If you're doing education and you know somebody who's studying accounting, but you're both qualitative researchers, they will give you really good feedback on your methodology. They haven't got a clue what you're writing about, and that's fine, but they will have an understanding about the methodology. Again, the results, so this is where the kind of the core of the paper that we said that you should perhaps start with. It's the really significant facts. And again, this should be pretty tight. It's probably the smallest section of the paper, depending, maybe the longest you've got lots of tables and things or equations, but in terms of the actual numbers of words, it should be very, very clear. Don't worry too much if sometimes the wording here is quite technical. This is the technical bit, whatever. Often if you're doing particularly scientific areas, then it will be very, very technical. Don't worry too much about the wording on this. It should be really cold. It shouldn't really have any kind of, if you like, almost unscientific wording. It should be very, very direct, and it should state what's occurred. The discussion is really kind of do's and don'ts on that. It's really important about providing the context. So this is where often when you go to do peer review, sometimes you're told that you haven't persuaded, or it's not been persuasive. And this is where you've got to persuade the reader, or persuade the editor and the reviewer, that your interpretation of the research is valid, it's consistent, it's logical, but it's also significant. Yeah? As well as being an original contribution to the body of knowledge, it has to be a significant contribution to the body of knowledge. Now, people here heard the term salami slicing? Yeah? A few nods. So salami slicing, i.e. the salami is your research, and people understand that you're going to slice it up, but people expect it's going to be nice, thick, meaty slices, not wafer-thin slices. And this happens a lot. The temptation is you've got some research and you can actually get lots and lots of different papers out of it by slicing it ever so slightly differently. Now, if you do that, you won't be able to persuade that you've made a significant contribution because it's just sliced too thinly. It's hardly any different to the other article that you've written. So it has to make a significant contribution, it has to stand on its own. In terms of the conclusion, then again, this should actually be quite boring. Don't start to introduce new topics or new material. It's okay to state implications for further research or limitations, what you would have liked to have maybe looked at, and that's okay. Again, don't worry if you've had to narrow down the research and you've had to leave aside some other research that maybe you or somebody else is going to do at a later date. That's fine. What you have to do is to state those limitations, be very clear, and also what the implications and the possibilities are and opportunities for further research. What you would like to see done. Don't start to introduce anything new. Don't start to introduce, sometimes this will immediately get red pen, make obvious statements. Everything that you say here has to be 100% backed up by what you've already stated. And if you go even slightly off topic, then that's not going to impress the editor or the reviewers.